It's 1:45. You're watching Sky News. A very warm welcome to those of you just joining us from Sky Showcase. We're counting down the final few minutes of 2021 with our correspondents across the UK. We'll take you right the way up to midnight and beyond, where in London, Big Ben will chime and fireworks are expected. Let's get more on how New Year's Eve will be celebrated tonight around the country. Caterina Vitozzi is here in London for us. We've also got James Matthews in Edinburgh and Dan Whitehead in Cardiff. But let's talk to Caterina first. Caterina, no official event tonight, but we know that there are going to be some fireworks, some light shows and some drones. Tell us more.
Yes, so London's Mayor Sadiq Khan earlier this afternoon promised the best fireworks, the best display. He said it would be a spectacular 30 minutes, but with the big caveat that they didn't want people to come down to London's famous landmarks. They wanted people to stay at home in their living rooms and watch it. Instead, it's there, he said, that people would be able to get the best view. But that has created a bit of confusion down here at the River Thames, where typically this is where you'd see that iconic fireworks display that would go on for 10 minutes at least, set to music. So some people expecting to see fireworks like that. We're not expecting that bells and whistles show, however. Lots of people asking us where's the best place to get the best vantage point. Quite simply, the guidance is that people are not meant to be going looking for those fireworks spots, and as I said, have been asked to stay at home on their sofa and watch it instead. Central London, although it is open this evening, bars, pubs and restaurants across the capital are open. There are no restrictions that were forcing them to close, unlike I'm sure we'll hear from James is in the case in Scotland. Here they are open, but they are much quieter than usual. And the river, which on a normal New Year's Eve with the normal fireworks display would be, 10, 12 rows deep at some points. Plenty of room, lots of people walking past us at the moment. So things pretty quiet here. As I say, we're still waiting to see exactly what might happen. Behind me is the Shard and Millennium Bridge. Some people starting to gather around those points, expecting maybe some sort of display to happen, whether that's part of the fireworks, maybe that's part of the lights or the drone show, is yet to be seen. But London will put a good face on it. London's mayor says it'll be better than Sydney. I was speaking to our colleagues over at Sky News Australia a little earlier today, and they said they would wait to see. They said that the cricket Ashes performance, if anything to go by, they still thought Australia's display would top that here in London. But let's give it another 15 minutes and see, shall we?
I think they were just being polite, Caterina. But Big Ben is going to Big Ben's going to chime as well. It's been quiet for the last 4 years. We've had occasional events where it's been able to chime using this mechanical chiming mechanism, but we're going to hear it again at midnight, aren't we?
Yeah, the Big Ben will have its first proper unveiling, really, since that iconic clock face was having some vital repair work to it. There have been crowds gathering around Big Ben in Parliament Square. We're across the river from South Bank, where you have a beautiful view of Millennium Bridge and the Globe and the Shard, where some people are hoping to catch a glimpse of what we're told, as I said, London's mayor says will be a spectacular display. But I think it is fair to say it will be a little bit more muted. I mean, we had the Prime Minister Boris Johnson today saying that he was going into 2022 a lot more optimistic than he was at this point last year. But people you speak to, it doesn't feel like the normal New Year's Eve celebration. There just aren't the volume of people. Some people choosing just to follow that guidance and to stay at home and watch whatever may happen on their TV. And as I said, bars, pubs, clubs are open, but nowhere near as full as you might expect it. So the Prime Minister giving that note of optimism, London Mayor promising the best display ever, reality on the ground, perhaps not sharing exactly the same sense of celebration, but hopefully optimism as we head into the new year.
OK, Caterina, we'll be back to you in a short while. But let's cross to James Matthews, who's up in Edinburgh for us. And James, the official Hogmanay celebrations were cancelled. Of course, it's a massive money spinner for the city of Edinburgh, isn't it? What is the atmosphere like there on the streets this evening?
The atmosphere, Jane, is like Princes Street on, I don't know, on any given weekday. I'd say around 7:30 in the morning, with people coming and going like they do during the week on their normal commute. There is human traffic, but it's passing traffic. They are on their way to something else because there's nothing happening here on Edinburgh's Golden Mile. Normally, 75,000 people are crammed in here. There are bands playing. There are fireworks from the castle up there. You can see it lit blue tonight. Normally, come the midnight hour, it's a huge spectacle, which we are used to, aren't we? But not this year. They had reduced numbers to 30,000, but even then, Nicola Sturgeon put that clamp of 500 on outdoor events. Therefore, Edinburgh's Hogmanay events were kicked into next year. And that's not just a street party. It's the party in the gardens, Princess Street Gardens, the torchlit procession, and the Looney Dook when everybody piles into the Firth of Forth on New Year's Day. So, there are people around. I have to say, Jane, we feel a bit guilty here. Every time we set up the camera on a tripod, there are people who come up and say, are you setting up for the fireworks? Because, the word doesn't necessarily filter down to people who've arrived in town for the fireworks. And there's no doubt people have come abroad. They have bought tickets, and either not expected the cancellation or have come for the holiday anyway. Let's speak to a few of the people who are in the vicinity. We're just at the foot of Castle Street that looks on to the castle. Some young girl's going to speak to us here. Hello, girls.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Okay, girls and boys going to speak to us. Well, tell me, what do you think of being here tonight? Because it's normally really busy, but it's quiet.
I think it's nice because the people are coming to see the fireworks.
Yeah. And what do you think, girls?
We think that it should be better for next year as well, to have a more fun for everyone to have.
Yeah. Do you like the party? Do you like the fireworks and all that? Yeah. Oh, well, hope we can lay on something better for you next year. Might see you here next year, eh?
Okay.
Thank you very much indeed. Now, let's go and find Hero. He's from Turkey. Now, you have a story, Hero. You're based here, but you are not. Now,
yeah, she came here 6 months ago.
6 months ago?
Yeah.
You came here for expecting the big Edinburgh firework party, yeah?
First time, I think. Yeah.
And what do you make of this?
We're just talking about for history here, but tonight, we worry about for a firework, but not same as before COVID-19.
Yeah.
But we will see first time this year.
Well, first time next year, maybe, eh?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
How it's going to pass.
What do you think? You don't speak that? Your English isn't. It's better than my Turkish.
Do you Turkish?
No, sadly not. What do you think of this?
Very beautiful.
Very beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Havai fişek gösterisi var.
Fireworks.
Onun için geldik. İnşallah izleyebileceğiz.
All right. Next year, hopefully. Yeah, we'll see. Let's go and see if we can speak to some other people. Here's a couple of guys. Hello, lads. How are you doing? You based locally, or are you?
Well,
you come
we're
from
actually
outside?
from Fife, but we normally come down to Edinburgh quite a lot as well.
All right.
Yeah.
What were you expecting tonight?
Fireworks.
Did nobody tell you they were cancelled?
Oh, are they cancelled? No, actually no one told us, so we just kind of... To be fair, it doesn't really affect us anyway.
No.
Yeah, as long as I'm making money, that's the happiest part of the year.
Well, and so say all of us. What do you think of this, mate? A bit quieter than you expected?
Well, I'm disappointed as you told me that the fireworks is cancelled.
Yes.
Yeah, we were expecting a big bang, so...
Yeah, it's not breaking news, lads. This happened a week ago.
Oh, yeah, it's because we're back in lockdown. Yeah, I'm completely oblivious to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... And it's an hour drive as well, so... But it's all right. At least we came down. It's still a nice vibe. People are around each other, so it's not actually that bad, even with COVID. So, but it can only just get better from here.
All right, well, thanks for your time, lads, and enjoy the rest of the night if you can.
Thank you, you
Cheers. So there you go. Some people knew it was cancelled, some did not, but people seem quite happy just to gather and have some kind of communal experience, I suppose. Hello. Hi, we're from Sky News. We're live.
Hello.
What do you make of all this? It's a bit quieter than usual, eh?
Yeah, it's really busy. We're down from Aberdeen. We was meant to be at the street party tonight, but it's cancelled, obviously, so a bit gutted, yeah.
Yeah. Because, it's normally party central, and it kind of means a lot to people who come here for the event.
Especially for being the capital city, it would usually be really busy. Yeah, so...
Well, sorry we let you down this year.
I know.
Better luck next time.
I know.
So, well, there you go, Jane. Same old Edinburgh, same old beautiful castle. Take a last look. Lit blue tonight. There's a suggestion that we might have the 1 o'clock gun come midnight. We've heard a relatively soft bang in the hours leading up to midnight, so maybe that's the plan. But certainly far short of the midnight spectacular that we normally get here in Scotland's capital.
Yeah, I think I caught a hint of a bagpipe just there behind you, James. James Matthews there, spreading joy and cheer on the streets of Edinburgh. Let's cross now to Dan Whitehead, who's in Cardiff for us. And Dan, they had big plans there as well, didn't they?
Yeah, similar actually to James. We've had to break the news to a few people who've come down to Cardiff Bay that the fireworks are indeed off. No official fireworks being put on by the Welsh Government or indeed Cardiff Council tonight. A few people here, but it's really quiet right across the Welsh capital. Tougher rules in Wales compared to England, certainly. The nightclubs are all closed. The bars are sit-down service only. Rule of 6, remember that? Well, that's back in force here in Wales. And it is having a bit of a dampening impact. We were inside one of the bars chatting to people who've decided to go out tonight, and they basically said they're going to try and make the most of it, really. Try and have a good evening, but there's not much atmosphere. We were in a couple of the biggest bars in Cardiff that usually would be absolutely heaving tonight, and one of them we counted 8 people in the entire mega bar, essentially. Prism nightclub, another huge nightclub here in Cardiff that would be expecting a really big night. That has also shut its doors, so a difficult evening for the businesses here. And actually what some people in Wales have decided to do is essentially flee the country. We were over at Bristol at Temple Meads, the main railway station in Bristol, earlier today, and every single train coming in from Cardiff to an hour had plenty of people from Swansea, from Port Talbot, from Newport, from Cardiff, all coming over to ensure that they can have a really big night. And you might be able to hear some bagpipes. James hasn't sent those down. That is a restaurant down here which is making the most of it and having a bagpiper. But people had travelled over to Bristol, travelled over to England, where the nightclubs are open, where there's no restriction on how many people you can meet, and they had booked hotels and Airbnbs last minute to try and ensure that they get a very long and big celebration. Lots of groups of friends had come from right over Wales for a night over in England. But for those who've come down to Cardiff Bay here and up in the main city centre, the bars are pretty empty, and as I say, the nightclubs are shut. Over in Newport as well, we spoke to one bar owner who had a big black tie glitter ball evening planned, and this morning decided to shut entirely. He didn't want to put the staff through the responsibility of having to tell customers not to stand up, not to hug people, not to go over to other tables at midnight, and they thought that's what New Year's is all about. We don't want to have our staff to tell our customers they can't do that, so they decided to cancel the whole event entirely, which is pretty sad news here in Cardiff. But of course the Welsh Government taking a more cautious approach perhaps as the Omicron numbers continue to rise here in Wales. But now, of course, as we approach midnight, people will be stopping, the few people here will be stopping to bring in the new year.
Dan, thanks very much, and also James up in Edinburgh. Let's return to Katerina, who's in London. Katerina, not very long to go now. Are a few people coming out and dribs and drabs to market?
There are a few people coming out, and it looks like this is behind me, and I can see the top of the Shard building, and there's some sort of countdown that seems to be on a bit of a loop, a countdown from 10 to 1 and then back to 10. So we might start to see something happening, a lot of people pausing. And if we want to maybe just zoom a little towards the end of the bridge, you can see how people are really trying to get any vantage point, not really knowing exactly where is best to go. They're sort of hedging their bets, really, and there's quite a big group of people who are now at the corner of the River Thames, so they've got a view not only of the Shard building but of Millennium Bridge, because, as I said, no official display. People have been told not to come down, but of course curiosity gets the best of a lot of people, and people just want to see where they're a good place to see whatever it might be here.
Thanks, Katerina. If you're just tuning our way, it is almost midnight and you are watching Sky News. We are counting down the last few moments of 2021. This is the The picture in London, where some fireworks are expected. Big Ben's also expected to chime. Let's pause to welcome in the new year.
As Big Ben's chimes ring out around us, signalling a year that...
Is that it? Can't be it.
I was going to say the council told you no, do they? Well, I don't think that's the official council.
We go back to Katerina. Well, we were promised lights and some fireworks, not as entirely spectacular as some might have expected, but it was meant to be cancelled in its entirety initially. Let's cross back to Katerina Vitozzi, who's down on the banks of the Thames for us. Not far from the Shard, Katerina, which has been, its tip has been glowing different colours. We saw the countdown there and we heard the bongs of Big Ben. But the spectacular and the lights and the fireworks, they're being spread out across London, aren't they, Katerina?
Yeah, and I think that is something very tactical by organisers. They wanted to avoid large groups of people in one place. I think, though, as you might be able to hear behind me, there's still little bits of fireworks happening in the corner of the Thames where we are now, just in front of the Shard. And there's lots of people who are still waiting and gathering, wanting to see a little bit of the spectacular that they were promised, at least on TV at least. But spectacular but brief, I would say, at this corner of the River Thames. But you never know, there might be a little bit more up London's sleeve for this corner of the river. But the Shard, still spectacular, with it sort of being lit up and that wonderful, brief but beautiful blaze of fireworks on the Millennium Bridge behind me. But as we say, this fireworks spectacular spread out across various London landmarks, not concentrated in that one particular area, as we've seen in New Year's Eve's past, and a celebration, a 30-minute spectacular that Sadiq Khan promised, spread out, remembering events of the past year, but also looking to 2022 with a bit more optimism.
And as you were saying earlier, Katerina, of course, because of restrictions, London is a great deal quieter than it would ever be. It's not the case that there are lots and lots of people down in London at the moment. They're all just staying inside. The bars and the restaurants are quite deserted.
Yeah, we've had teams. My colleague was in central London in Soho this evening, and there were plenty of empty seats in restaurants, bars, busy-ish, but certainly not the volume that you'd expect on normal New Year's Eve. Points along the river where, as you say, on a normal year you'd expect deep rows of people waiting for many hours. I mean, I covered a New Year's Eve celebration, I think 3 years ago, and we had to be there at 6 p.m. just in order to get that prime spot. But now, you know, people turning up 5 minutes before, hoping to get a glimpse of New Year's Eve that felt maybe a little bit more normal. I think in these uncertain times, a bit of a more normal New Year's Eve is something that everyone was looking forward to. But certainly, you know, we were told the official event was cancelled. We were told there would be something. No one knew exactly what it was. The crowds that were standing here, I mean, I don't know if you can see behind me, there are still people waiting and looking just to see if there's anything further happening on this part of the river. It doesn't appear like there will be. A lot of things looking like they're happening actually slightly further down towards Tower Bridge, and the Shard's still setting off a few beams of light, but certainly not the New Year's Eve fireworks that we have known from times past. Something slightly different, something slightly more in keeping with the times that we all find ourselves in. And even though we might not, have that great big grand display, certainly something very special, very resonant about hearing the chimes of Big Ben at midnight on New Year's Eve. I think for many people that is the sound of New Year's Eve, and whatever happens with the fireworks, that sound remains the same.
Katerina, thanks very much. Let's return to James Matthews, who's up in Edinburgh for us. James, the last time we spoke to you, you were joined by some other youngsters who are up past their bedtime, just like you are. What is the mood like? Has there been anything to mark the passing of 1 year into the next where you are?
Yeah. I mean, the mood's good, actually, Jenna. There's a great deal of warmth. Katerina's talking about the sound of New Year's Eve. Well, we found the sound of Hogmanay. I'll step out a shot so you can see the young man laying on the sole piece of entertainment on Edinburgh's Golden Mile tonight. And good luck to him too. You can see the crowd, if we just pan to the right, see the kind of crowd that's gathered. I would say there's several hundred people in the West End of Princes Street tonight. Many of them were expecting fireworks, actually. I know that because that's what some people have told me. They didn't realise there had been a cancellation. Let's speak to a couple of people who are gathered here today. Hello, where have you come from?
Aberdeenshire.
Aberdeenshire. What do you make of this? It's a bit quieter.
It is. We came down for the Hogmanay party but got cancelled, so we're disappointed. So.
Did you buy tickets?
Yes, we did. Yeah.
Did you know it was cancelled before you came down?
Well, we did, but when we came down, everything else was still going on, and the day we came, everything else got cancelled.
Oh, well, sorry you've had a quiet night. What do you think, Mick?
Oh, it's not great. It's a bit quiet, aye.
A bit quiet. You're not wrong there. Now, Jane, we bumped into a gentleman by the name of Pete Irvin. I don't know if you recognise that name, but he is the man who, for many years, organised Edinburgh's Hogmanay and made it what it became. There's a lot of good humour about tonight, a lot of rotten jokes. Pete Irvin, here you are. Hello, Pete. Live on Sky News again. You are the man, for many years the guru of Edinburgh and everything it was at Hogmanay.
That's very kind of you to say so, Jim. Well, you also were a very important guy as far as televising Edinburgh's Hogmanay to the world.
Well, thank you. But enough of this mutual appreciation. Yeah. Tell me, what do you make of this? This is nice, actually. A few hundred people. It's quiet. It's quite warm. People are feeling good. But COVID, and this isn't what Edinburgh is normally at New Year. What do you make of it?
Well, I'm here because, I haven't been here for a couple of years, actually, and I just thought it would be great to come uptown, as it were. Great city, really mild, great night, a really convivial crowd, not too many people. and I'm really enjoying being here. So I don't find it odd. It's COVID times. This is how it should be. No question that this should have been cancelled, as it was in London. They're not doing fireworks, and eventually we're not doing fireworks either. So I think that's the right thing to be doing.
Yeah.
I don't think this will continue.
You say you're enjoying this tonight. What are you enjoying?
Well, I'm enjoying that I can just come up here and walk around and not get hassled by anybody, and not be responsible for anything here, you know, and just to enjoy it, the moment of being here in my city.
All right. Thanks very much indeed, Pete. There is that freedom in not having the responsibility. Hello. Oh, do you? Oh,
yeah.
You want to wish us a Happy New Year?
Yeah.
You're live on Sky News.
Yeah. Oh,
Happy New Year.
And Happy
She
New Year to
from
you.
Sweden, just to celebrate New Year's here in Edinburgh.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
And what do you think of this? A bit quieter than?
Yeah, quite quiet. We are a little bit sad, but we don't have like to say anything. But it's nice to be here. Yeah, and celebrate here. She coming from Sweden, but I am from here, from Edinburgh.
Oh yeah.
I'm normally from Morocco, but I live from Edinburgh.
Oh,
yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. And we have all our family to come see the fireworks, but it was like shorter, but nice.
Yeah, you were very short, wasn't it? It was the 1 o'clock gun at midnight.
Yeah. Happy New Year's for you and for everyone.
Thank you very much, and Happy New Year to you too. Hello there, sir. Where are you from? Where are you from?
From India.
India. What do you make of all this?
Yeah, it's amazing, but like we are waiting for some firecrackers, but it's not there. So yeah, we are a bit embarrassed for that, but it's fine. It's amazing in Edinburgh. It's amazing.
Great. Well, glad you're enjoying it. Sorry about the fireworks. What do you think of this?
Yeah, we really we came here like not only us, like so many people come here to enjoy something. Like it's not in Scotland, everywhere else. People to enjoy something the New Year, but that's our aim, to at least enjoy something. But nothing happened.
Thanks very much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your time. Let's take a walk through the crowd. Let's walk this way. Walk ahead of me, and the dancing has started. At least one. Straight ahead, just to the right of the piper. I wonder if this young man will have a quick chat with us, if we can break into his pipe playing. Hello, mate. Sorry, that's really rude, stopping you playing the pipes. We'll keep it brief. You are the one piece of entertainment at Edinburgh's Princess Street tonight. Why?
I enjoy playing the pipes, and I come up here a bit I've been here a bit during Christmas, so I thought I might come up again.
Yeah, well, your music is fantastic, and being enjoyed by several hundred people here tonight from around the world, that must make you feel good.
Yeah. Good to know people actually like my music.
Yeah, great. Well, crack on, mate. Thank you very much indeed. And, providing the service that many people in Princess Street tonight have welcomed. Let's take one last look at the crowds. Several hundred, as I say, missing the firework, but enjoying Scotland's capital city. The castle high up to the left, as you can see, lit blue for Scotland. But we're not seeing the fireworks we normally see in Scotland's capital tonight. Maybe next year.
James, thanks so much. And on the subject of blue, we must apologise for the rather colourful language that you may have picked up on a little bit of James's broadcast earlier. We can't control the crowds, unfortunately. Some of those out there on the streets seeming to have no regard for that. There are young children very nearby. But James Matthews soaking up the atmosphere in Edinburgh for us. Let's cross from Edinburgh to Cardiff, and Dan Whitehead is there. And down at Cardiff Bay, it was going to be a smashing night, wasn't it? There were fireworks planned, there was a lot of celebrations. Jolly quiet, though.
pretty quiet. We said there were no fireworks, then of course there were some fireworks, but no official displays. There you go. There's some people who've brought their boats down to the bay and they set off a little bit of a display. I would say a couple of hundred people had gathered down here in Cardiff Bay to watch those modest fireworks, and they've all dispersed, but it really has been a quiet night right across the Welsh capital. That really is the story, from the clubs where the takeaways are and the bars, walking around there. This, of course, should be an absolutely heaving night for Cardiff's nighttime economy, but they were dead this evening. We were counting on one hand the number of people in some of the biggest bars, and the nightclubs are shut completely, not allowed to open here in Wales, and there's tougher rules as well in the bars, the rule of six, and only being served at the table. We can just have a little look around here behind me here. There's just a handful of people now in the restaurants down here in Cardiff Bay. They, of course, have been busy tonight. They've been fully booked, but they've had to have reduced capacity in a lot of cases. And down here in the Bay Area by the Millennium Centre, this would usually be heaving with thousands of people, as you say, who would have planned to have come down and celebrated the New Year coming in with the fireworks. But those crowds simply are not here this evening. And what a lot of people have done in Wales is left the country and fled over the border to England, not just down here in South Wales, Wrexham to Chester, but certainly going across from Cardiff to Newport over to Bristol. We were over in Bristol earlier today, and every single train that was coming into Bristol Temple Meads had plenty of young Welsh groups of friends from Swansea, from Port Talbot, from Cardiff, from Newport, coming for the nights over in England, where, of course, the restrictions are fewer. People can go night clubbing. They can meet up with as many people as they want to. And so they had decided not to stay in Wales for the New Year celebrations and instead head over to England. So that's what a lot of young people did. But for those who did go out here in Wales tonight, in the bars, we were chatting to them, and they were saying it really doesn't have the atmosphere that they were hoping for, but they're going to make the most of it and try and have a good night. But certainly the area is clearing now. Of course, what the Welsh Government didn't want to do with Omicron cases rising is to see the big crowds gathering down here. So that public message has worked, and we have not seen, despite it being incredibly mild, of course, across the country and certainly down here in Cardiff tonight, very mild temperatures, which, of course, would have meant it would used to be heaving down here. But people have heeded the advice, stayed at home to watch any form of celebrations and not gone out in the city. Not good, though, for the economy because some of the bars and the owners and the managers that we've been speaking to actually decided not to simply open. We were in Newport a couple of hours ago where Le Pub, the chain pub there, had been planning a big glitter ball event. They decided to simply shut their doors. They didn't want to put their staff through the pressure of having to tell customers at midnight, you've got to stay seated, don't get up, don't go and hug that person and say Happy New Year. And they said that was going to be too difficult for their staff, so they decided to shut the pub entirely. Crowds here, or what was a few crowds, are now starting to disperse. It's been a very quiet night in the Welsh capital.
It certainly has, Dan. Thanks very much. Well, let's take you back to London and we can refresh our memories as to how some of the fireworks went. We've got some footage now of the fireworks that were set off at Greenwich. Let's take a look.
Doors opening. This is a Platinum Jubilee Line train to
2022.
Our first stop is
Carnival.
Exit here for
Culture, colours and sound. On the floor.
Wembley. Exit here for
football's greatest moments.
The men did us proud in the Euros last year. Can the women go one better? The players take the knee, united in their stance against racism. Again and again they stream forward, looking for an opening. This looks promising and... that is brilliant! That is world class! The crowd goes wild. The country goes wild.
We hope to see you in London for the UEFA Women's Euros. 2022 will be huge for sport across.
Well, those pictures courtesy of BBC Events showing us how we marked it in London. Let's see how people around the world have been celebrating the arrival of the new year, including in Hong Kong, Australia and Greece.